when I was in college, I started this terrible pattern. I don't know about you, but do you have patterns that run in your life that sabotage you? And now when you think about it, you've done it over and over again. So give you an example. I was in college and I was living my best life. I was dancing on the pool table, just enjoying my life as a college freshman. And then a couple of years into that, I was living my best life. And then, I didn't go to school very much. And so I flunked out of school. And it was like devastating. I was completely embarrassed. I was like, I couldn't tell my parents. I didn't tell my roommates from college. I eventually had to because I wasn't going to school. I had to stay out a semester. And then I worked and I punished myself, right? I was living my best life and then I struggled and then I felt all this shame. And then I punished myself. I got 2 jobs. I didn't go home for the summer. I worked. And I worked and I worked and all that. And then I graduated from college, right? I figured it out and I used all my resources and I got out of college. And then when I got back into college, and then last semester of school, I found out I was pregnant the same day that I got my internship papers for California. And I'm in Wisconsin. I was in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And I threw the internship papers away. So I was living my best life, and then I wasn't, and I was basically devastated, but not because I was pregnant, because I felt like I wasn't in charge of my life. And then I struggled, and then I had all this shame, and then I punished myself, and then I was successful. So this pattern I've been carrying through my 50s, and I'm like, okay, I am done with it. Like, who wants to continue to sabotage yourself? And so there's a few things you can do to not sabotage yourself or to be aware of it. A simple pattern is when an athlete gets injured and then they come back stronger. You want to go back to before the original issues started. So when I look back when I was in college, if I would have known then what I know now, I wouldn't have been in that situation. I would have known the doing strategy, the learning strategy, A circle, and goal beyond the goal. If I would have known that I could have asked questions, I could have used the learning strategy, I could have managed my A circle, I could have probably kicked out, everybody's in my A circle except me. I wasn't in my own A circle. I didn't know I had an A circle. But if I would have known back then what I know now, I wouldn't have had to go through that pattern of struggle. It doesn't mean that it's not valid and important and I didn't learn from it. I did learn from it. But I don't think we have to struggle to be successful. I think we can actually layer success. And I think it's being aware that you can do that is super valuable. So go back to the beginning, even before the original pattern started. See what you could have done back then that may have been helpful. Connect the dots with the resources that you have. And if you want help with this is what I do for a living. We all have patterns of success that have negative components in them. I don't look at the negative component as negative necessarily. I look at it as we don't really need to get injured to get stronger again. I don't really need to have a devastating event to add the shame to myself so that I can be successful. And so understanding that is extremely valuable and helpful for you. I work with athletes. I see about 20 to 30 a week. And I also work with adults on these things. So I'm in my 50s. I want you to live your best life. And I've learned so many things from your athletes. I've been seeing athletes for 15 years, 20 to 30 a week. And I've then obviously used them for myself. And I've created So Connected. If you find this video valuable, please stay tuned for more and link below for more videos. And also share this. Please ask me questions if you want more information on this topic. Have a good day.